Hi. Okay. So, I mentioned a while ago to post, if you've got any questions for me, whatever they are, just to post them on selected threads, posts, and different videos that I posted as well recently. So, it's not many, but I just thought I'd do like a little video just to answer the ones that I have received. Okay. And if you do want to ask any questions, I'll most likely do another one later on. Okay, so the first question is my top five favorite anime. Okay, so obviously my first one will be Akira because I live and breathe Akira. Well, it's in my top five films of all time. And then another one that I'd recommend and I adore is Paprika, which is a weird head trippy sci-fi one. And then Perfect Blue is just chef's kiss, really, really good. And I think after that it would be The Girl Who Leapt Through Time, which is a more recent anime film. And I think for my fifth one, I'm going to go with a film again. I love anime series, but with anime series, I get new favorites each time a new one comes out. Like currently, I'm adoring Sakamoto Days and Ramna, Ramna Half. Um, I think for me, anime ones, my series, I tend to go for more light-hearted ones in a way. So that's why I'm just mainly sticking with films for this. For my fifth film, it's got to be Ghost in the Shell. And yeah, initially I hated it on the first time I watched it. I thought it was boring as fuck. But now, after watching about two or three times, I've watched it quite a number of times now. On the second time, it just clicked. I just don't think I was old enough when I watched it the first time. But yeah, so that's my top five. I wonder who this is from. So a certain Canadian who has a YouTube channel. We'll just call him the Comics Patrol for a nominate, to keep him. Forget it. It's Comics Patrol, but he says, "Why do I have so many Canadian friends slash followers? Because Canadians have good taste and uh, like a more polite American." I do find that Canadians tend, on the whole of the Canadian people I spoke to online, they just seem much less stressed. There's less attitude, and I can relate to that myself because I'm totally attitude free. So yeah, that's why I like Canadians, and why I've got quite a few Canadian friends online. Uh, okay, so I think this is from Partworks Comic Reader, who's a really cool guy. He says, "Which year am I coming to Thought Bubble? I wanted to go this year. I am thinking about it next year. It's just basically, obviously, trying to get the it's just a matter of factor of things. One factor is I don't like doing events and all that by myself. So part works. If you want to if you want to team up and we do Thought Bubble together, give us a shout, and I'll do it next year with you. And I'll try and film some of it as well and do a video of it. Um, you need to come see on Alexa. There wasn't many questions. It says, "What are the best starter comics or collections that you recommend to new comic folk?" Well, first of all, what I would recommend people who are completely new get the DC Compact comic line. The $9.99. So in the UK, that's £8.99, and they seem to be ready available everywhere. I mean, over here in the UK, I've seen them in on sale even in Waterstones or general bookshops, and they're a compact size, so they fit in your bag. If you use, for example, if you're a manga reader, they're the same size as a manga Tankaban volume. Um, but yeah, they're perfect. And the good thing with the DC Compact ones, they have complete stories in. So you've got like classics like The Watchmen, but they've also got like ones aimed at people who might not want something as grim and gritty like Harley Quinn. And also, other companies are taking up on it now as well. Only Press have started doing their versions, which at the moment is just um, Rick and Morty and Adventure Time. Vault have done some which are strictly for adults, and then you've got the Marvels. But I don't like the Marvel curate how the Marvel have curated theirs. Um, And I think for starter comics, like ongoing ones at the moment, perfect jumping on point, the Absolute line, much more so than the Ultimate line, because you don't need to know anything about it, and it's very very easily accessible. And at the moment, DC's quality of writing, the teams that they use are really really high. And I would also recommend um, a good one to try as well, which is been running for about a year or two, but you can get them in collector's edition. Is the Ghost Machine series of books, and I know Kiki Ohog, who, if you're not subscribed to me, is worth checking out. Would second that. It's a whole new universe of titles. You don't need to buy all of them. There's no crossovers, but there's kind of like a link in a weird kind of way. And they've got some of the best writers and artists on them. For example, there's Redcoat, Geiger, Hyde Street, and then you have fucking getting Bravehearts, Rocket Fellas, which is like a like a Fantastic Four one, um, and Hornsby and Halo, and I think there's a few others as well. So yeah, I'd recommend that one. And I'd also say he said five, and I'm going way over five, so forgive me. Um, for Marvel, I can't really recommend current Marvel at the moment because if you recommend something of theirs and you get into it, Marvel at the moment, past few years, I don't know. It's like they're just throwing things at the wall and seeing if they stick. So there's not really many. There's no stability. So if you get into an ongoing series, it could finish within 10 issues without you knowing about that it's going to happen. Um, but what has come out recently, which is getting a lot of positive feedback. If you like superheroes with more science fiction base, I'd recommend the new Nova comic, and Moon Knight. If you've seen it from Marvel, Disney Plus, the TV series, that's been relaunched in brackets because again, it's done by the same team, just renumbering it again in February next year. Um, so yeah, there's that. Trying to think of any other Image comics. A good collection set, which has been brought out similar to the compact comics, but in thicker volumes and a slightly dearer, but still good value for money. It's Paper Girls by Brian K. Vaughan. That's great as well for if you're a fan of like 80s movies. Really, really fun, timey-wimey kind of adventure strip with gorgeous artwork by Cliff Chang in that. So yeah, I'd recommend that one. And I'll give two more. Um, oh yeah, how can I forget this? If you're in the UK, if you want a good comic each week, 2000 AD, my favourite comic of all time. And if you're in the States, you can read that digitally as well. And they do have some really good collections. Like there's a series of books of a strip called Lawless, which I highly recommend for anybody. It's got gorgeous black and white art by Phil Winslade and really strong writing by Dan Abnett. It's like a futuristic western. And one which is brilliant for two books for all ages, I'm going to say. One from Image, which is coming out in series collected books, and you can also get it in monthly comics as well, is Kaya from Wes Craig. That's a really good fantasy story. And another one in the fantasy genre, and it's a modern day classic, is Bone by Jeff Smith. I've got the big compendium version of it, but it has been released in smaller editions as well, with beautiful artwork and really, really easily accessible. Let's see. Oh yeah, Batman's come out recently. I'd highly recommend the new Batman comic, um, which has been rebooted with a number one. So there's only been about 2 or 3 issues, so you can easily guess it. So yeah, I'd say that for those. And it says, "What are my favourite Judge Dredd story arcs? My all-time favourite Judge Dredd story arc, which you can at the moment only find in Judge Dredd Complete Case Files number 11, is Oz. The reason I like it, it's a big sprawling epic. It feels very much like the more recent Mad Max films, and I think that has a lot to do with Brendan McCarthy having a lot to do with the artwork in the story. It's set in Australia, and there's these like mysterious, I was like judges who are like almost like godlike beings called the Judda, and the whole mythology that they bring out. It's a wild, wild trip, and that's in this volume. But then there's Apocalypse War, there's Cursed Earth, the Judge Child Quest. Um, there's so many others. Recently, there's been Trifecta, um, and there's the current one in the most recent comic 2000 AD strips. It's this really brilliant H.P. Lovecraft kind of supernatural kind of flavour to it, which is fantastic. But there's so many. But I'd say if you're not sure where to start, get the first 11 volumes of the Judge Dredd Complete Case Files, which are really chunky books. Quite a reasonable way of getting the early adventures. Or if you want something in this original format, larger size, get the essential formats. There's not been as many of these at the moment, but these are like cultivated ones where they just have like one story arc in the book and a really high quality, larger size format, nice quality paper. This one is Origins, which gives you the history of how the judges came to be. And they also have the Apocalypse War, which I mentioned in the Essential Range, America, which is a really, really fantastic story, very, very political. Tour of Duty is a series of 3 books in this range as well. You can get Judge Death, which is a good one, and Judge Anderson books from the have some fantastic, gorgeous art as well, which are in the Essential Range. So yeah, I'd say those are the ones to go for. Like I said, if you want me to do another question and answer series, do let me know. Just put your questions in, and I'll compile them, do another one in another few months. Okay, so that's it. Let's see if this works. Bye.